And
Okay.
welcome everybody. Welcome to the iSOSY online training, part number 2. You guys excited? Yeah.
They look excited, I can tell.
Good. We are gonna just go straight into it after I give you guys quick announcements, just to make sure that you guys are aware where the information is. If you see in the chat, I will post what I'm about to put on there, the shared drive. That is the Google Drive that we used last week, last part 1. And in this, if you open it, you'll be able to see that there are folders for each one of your projects. In each one of your projects, that's the location where you can submit your assignments. That's the easiest way. Also, if you look, there's a document. If you scroll down, Tracy, for me, there's a document called iSOSY Training Info. If you can open that for me.
Yep.
The iSOSY Training Info document kind of talks about the information that I sent out when we first started this training, as well as some updates. For example, in the dates, we have moved our April 20th session, which would have been the next one, to April 27th. Same time, 1 to 3 o'clock.
Perfect.
And if you scroll just a little bit down, you will find that here are the links to the recordings of each session. So if you ever want to go back and you want to see Tracy continue to share, you can see the recording right there in there. If you guys have ever any questions, when I sent you guys an email, Tracy's also CC'd on there. Feel free to ask anything. And with that, let's kick it off.
All right.
Welcome.
Yay. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take you to, where do I want to go? Okay, now hold on. I think I've messed everything up. I have too many things open, so give me a second. Okay, so I want to go to
March 23rd is right under it. If you put,
let's do that. I'll just do that. Okay, so this is what you're going to need today. We are going to start. Don't open the PowerPoint. You could just follow along with me because I have a reason for that in a minute. We're going to use these icebreaker questions. We are going to, you look at this adapted handout. I really think that's a great tool to start with. And then you are going to need, where it says goal setting guides, you're going to need each of these. So you have the Word version, the PDF version. Let me just open that. So this is the instructor's guide on what we call how will you grow, setting goals with OSY. Again, you can use any of these activities with any migratory student. We've even used some of these. I know some states have used these in their MPAC meetings to get parents involved in helping their students set goals, but we'll talk more about that. So just to make sure that you have that, sorry, because I'm going to share with you a little bit more about that in a moment. But what I would like to do, I am going to go to the PowerPoint and Cesar, make sure that if there's anything in the chat that I have to address, let me know. Okay, so first off, we're going to talk about your homework. I'm thinking I'm actually going to skip this next bullet I'm going to save it for next time we get together on April 27th, introduce the professional learning circle concept and how to incorporate this into your work, not just our trainings. We're going to look at understanding the goal setting process, understand the role of how goal setting can shape our work with our migratory students. And then this next piece, developing learning plans, we may or may not get to because it's another activity. But I want to start with the homework, which was your resource analysis. So I would love to go to that. Let me go back to that folder. And is there any group that would like to talk about their resource analysis? And if not, I'll just open one of these up and hopefully you did it. So we have Omaha, Madison, Lexington, Head Start, Grand Island, and then we have our ESUs. So anybody raring to go to talk about what they found through the resource analysis process?
I can go. This is Justin with ESU 13.
Okay.
Hopefully you can hear me. I'm kind of
No, we
out of
hear you.
town and filling in at a gas
Thank
station.
you for still joining us. Thank
Yes.
you. Awesome. Okay, walk us through this.
Okay, so I don't know if I did it right. So I just kind of based off what I've done with an OSY before. I've only done a couple.
Okay.
So what I've used before is lesson plans if needed, and tried to use like a budget one. Both OSYs I've had, they obviously weren't attending school and were focused on making money, starting families. And so they were trying to save money and get their own place established. So then they could get stable and settled. So then they can start working on their GED and other opportunities. So I worked with them on some budgeting. So I found that lesson plan, which worked good. By who that was myself as the service provider and the student, we worked together. The result in that is they really didn't want to engage at first because they were too busy to meet. Seems like a lot of these OSYs, they're trying to work, trying to start their lives, and they're just very, very busy. And also with us working, we're only allowed to work so many hours and stuff like that. And so that's kind of hard to connect with them. So what else I did was kind of did more like emailing and like self-lesson plans and like show them where they can look up videos and resources online to help them practice their budgeting, if that makes sense.
It does.
So then for technology, we have ability for ESU 13 for them to check out Chromebooks if needed. They can check them out so that they have access to use online, the iSOSY website or whatever.
Okay.
So we've done that. That's between the mentor or the service provider and student. I asked to Zoom with them, but they would not. Again, it was because of hours and stuff like that. And so them that have checked out the Chromebooks in the past, they used the classes or they've utilized them on their time, which is usually like late evenings and on weekends when they have time. Additional things is just the importance of safety on technology, letting them know that we are providing the service to them, not to use it for Netflix and, trying to be more appropriate with it and the purpose of it. So also I think OSY is just teaching that important on safety, technology and using devices. And what's the tool for the purpose. Support services, what I've done, I've handed out materials as needed. If they're needing information on food banks or where to even to go to get information for their GED or any materials, we can handle those. Seems like that benefits the students that they've utilized those resources, and then I just check in with them to make sure they followed through with those resources, and we can use them as a referral. So I did that with the students. They all have been thankful for the referrals and stuff like that, because a lot of them, they don't know how to advocate for themselves or to locate the resources. So that is something that we can provide to them. And then I think just as a service provider in your area, just need to know, I wish I knew, because I just started, I wish I knew more resources. And where ESU 13 is so spread out, each area is so different. So in my new role as the liaison for ESU 13, what I've been doing is trying to create a resource list in each different area, since we're so spread out, so that a new service provider, they can click on the document and see what resources are in their area.
I love it.
Instead of them just Googling or just comparing or finding out. So it's a tool I've been creating for them.
Justin, this is awesome. I love your take on this, because in my mind, it was really to review as a team what you all had and used, but I absolutely loved how you did this, that you really took a look at what do I personally have access to and what do I do. And I love this for a number of reasons. One, we are digging in already into instruction and what's working and potentially some roadblocks to that. And at our next session, we're going to really dig into mentoring and relationship building and reviewing the research and doing self-assessment. And I think that will be a great piece for you to think about how you try to reach these students, and then looking at, and I love the importance of safety with technology. And I was going to ask you, do you have the students sign any sort of contract?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Now I think that's great. So yes, so we're going to continue to dig into resources when we get when I get to look at everybody's case studies. What I'm going to be doing with that is really looking for common threads and a way to design what I'm calling professional learning circles, which I'll talk more about, around these issues that are pertinent to you all within those case studies. So we'll be working together and brainstorming and bringing all of our best professional knowledge at our next session to really dig in and to help solve some of the issues that have arisen in the past and that will continue to arise. So thank you. This was great. Let's hear from somebody else. That was really good. And I have to ask, are you on spring break? Because you said you were out of town.
No, I'm like not in North Platte. I have to go to school after this, so I'm
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
just a little everywhere.
I love it. All right. Who is the next? All right. Would love a volunteer. Don't be shy. Come on, somebody's in their car. I saw that. They got half a gold star. And whoever is pulled off at the gas station, awesome. Thank you. That is commitment. I love it. All right, let's hear from somebody else.
Well, sounds like ESU 9 wants to go.
Okay. ESU 9, let's see what you have. All right, here we go. Okay.
El que quiera. Are you trying to speak, Dulce? Because you're totally muted.
Hold on, excuse me for 1 minute. Keep talking. Well, start talking. I'll be right back.
She's still talking. Dulce. Is anyone next to her? Lisbeth, ¿no está ahí la Dulce?
Okay. No, we're not going to do ESU 9? Can they hear us? Are they there?
Emily, you got this.
Oh, there she is. Oh, you're still muted.
All you have to do is press on mute. The same one they used to mute stuff.
Yeah, does it work now?
Yes, yes. So you
So
start.
I press the key that is on the keyboard, but that doesn't work. I wasn't seeing the thing. So anyway, what I had said, and I'm gonna stress it again, instructional services. So we try to do instructional services over the past couple of years, and with ESU 9, last year it was actually our first year serving OSYs over the summer. We really don't have a lot of OSYs during the school year, other than 2 to 3 of them. But over the summer, we do have maybe like around 30 that come to Kearney, and sometimes or some in their Strand. So I was saying what I stressed out a lot is that we really, really, really try to give instructional services and plan several classes according to what they said was going to work for them. But for some reason, it didn't work very well. They wouldn't, I guess the timing, it's just, even though we try to do like evenings at 7 and 8, even a weekend, it just didn't work. And it's just their work schedule is so unreliable. We just don't know what to expect. We did provide everybody with a tablet with iSOSY resources as well as some pamphlets during when we did support services visits. We would give a brief, like not instruction, but a brief, let's say if it was like summer safety, a brief conversation about safety in the summer, along with other resources like sunscreen and insect repellent and stuff like that. I think with support services, we were okay. It was just the instructional services that we struggled a lot. And as I think Justin, I think he said that it's just their timing. It's just hard to get them.
Sure.
Yeah, other than that, for instruction, I don't think we did much. For support services, we did a lot. We gave them welcome bags, and throughout the whole summer, we kept giving them, more tools to use. And the welcome bags, we had even COVID test, sanitizers, and
Great.
anybody from ESU 9 that could help me if I forget something. But it was like the COVID test, hand sanitizers, masks. We gave them water bottles along with information about keeping themselves hydrated. Long socks, because I know they need those, ponchos, gloves, hats, the bucket hats, and then long sleeve shirts and shorts, first aid kit. I think I covered most. Oh no, shampoo and body wash, toothpaste, deodorant. And along with that, sometimes it was information in that brief conversation about, this is what the sunscreen is for. This is why it's important that you put it on. This is your water bottle. And they were not just regular water bottles. There's insulated water bottles so they could keep their drinks fresh and cold. Although some people said we actually use it for coffee in the morning, which like that works. Whatever you want to use it for. In the morning, coffee, later, butter, whatever you want. But we got also like cream for fungus for their feet because they requested it.
Yeah. Oh, great.
And then antibacterial cream. So if they get cuts or scratches, they have that. And band-aids with the first aid kit. I think that was mostly what we gave them. Also, a couple of times we did a bag of snacks, so which had granola bars, and they had like a tuna with Ritz kit, so they could do.
Oh yeah, those are great.
We had a little box of
electrolytes. Blankets.
Electrolytes.
That's
electrolytes. We gave them that. Fresh fruit, milk, cereal. Did we get yogurt? No, not yogurt. No,
how many bags do you give out typically?
One of the hygiene, one that has the hygiene items, and then throughout the next few weeks we also visit, and then we started bringing more items. And then on top of that, we did one trip off with snacks, because sometimes they said what they give us is not enough. So they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but if they're gonna work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., they need snacks in between. And until they get paid, they're not gonna be able to buy them. So for that week, we will give them a bag of snacks, and then in the middle of the summer, we give them another bag of snacks.
That's great.
So wonderful. And we have a lot of we had a lot of partners that helped us. Buffalo County community partners helped us gather some items. Free Church gave us 120 kits that had the long sleeve cooling t-shirts, or those that to keep you cool, with shorts and t-shirts, and the hats, those bucket hats, the bucket hats.
Well,
so that's what we did.
Nice job. No, I really appreciate this. I love you're really hitting the support services, and you're doing a great job with that. And as you even acknowledged, we need a little more support in terms of instructional materials, because it would be great if you could tuck some things into the bags.
I mean, we we had, but I feel that it doesn't,
Yeah,
like, it
It's
doesn't
not
do it
enough.
justice. It's not enough, but we have, like I said, for example, when we give it the water bottles, we also have the information about staying hydrated and the safety, like heating exposure or the heat exposure, heat stroke and all that. And then when
Yep.
we have the first aid kits, it was, like about skin safety and especially with the sunscreen, and then the insect repellent, and with the fresh fruit and the snacks, we gave them information about like being, like putting in nutrients into their body and,
I
like
love it.
healthy eating and stuff. So we did, but
What?
it's not enough. For me, that's
Well,
not enough.
Let me help you make some more connections, because these are things that can be done very quickly. So I'm just pulling up, can you all see the website?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Two things. Well, one, I can't remember if I showed you the at work lesson where this has little videos of actual students going through and doing a quick little game with the vocabulary. And it's about, so I want you to look at that, but two other things. This could tie in very well with what you're doing. The hand washing lesson would be really fun to do. And it can be done quickly. And so if you pull up the lesson plan, so I'm not going to go through all of this with you, but we start with our standard lesson objectives, what we want students to be able to know, and be able to do. So I can understand the importance of washing my hands to stay healthy. I can practice washing my hands using a black light and glow germ gel, which is really fun. And they love this. And then I can match words with their correct image. So it's really looking at vocabulary. So you just need a couple more items. You need a black light flashlight and this glow germ gel, which you can buy it from Amazon and it's super cheap, but it's really fun. Then you can provide them with the vocabulary lesson. Okay, so you're delivering an actual lesson, but you're modifying it based on time. And you can include those items in the bag, which is very fun. Then, and granted, we always have a pre and post test and all of that. There's games. I really like this because you can print this out and give this to them. We have a pronunciation guide and images. You gotta like that one. So really adding to what you're doing. And then the other one I wanted to point out is we have a lesson on heat stress. And this one's fairly new, but this would tie in perfectly. You're giving sunscreen, you're giving the water bottles, right? And you said you want to talk about, staying safe in the sun and in the heat. Well, here's an entire lesson on heat stress. And we actually are also developing one on dealing with extreme heat, because we know our summers are getting hotter here in the Midwest. And they're pretty miserable. So just thinking about this, same thing. Here's your practice guide. Heat symptoms. I mean, look at this, bilingual information sheets, heat symptoms and how to respond. So I don't have a ton of time to go through all of this together, but I want to start making these connections so you have additional resources to give out. So we will dig into these, I promise you, but I love making connections when I can. And I think that this is really, really important. So thank you for that. But now I want to dig into the actual goal setting. So we are going to do more with this. So don't think you did the assignment and I didn't call on you, because we are going to hear from more of you. If not today, then definitely next time. Can you all see my slides? Okay, so we're going to come back to our professional learning circles, but I just wanted to start kind of digging into goal setting and what this means. I really like thinking about it as designing and following educational and life pathways, because we know not all goals revolve around academic goals. And we need to make sure that we're also looking at what are some life pathways that students may be heading down. We are in the process, and Cesar, you're going to be excited. You're going to be trained next week on the new entrepreneurial courses that we're developing for direct student use that we will unveil for summer. So that would be a great match. We know a lot of our OSY, a lot of our migratory students have, side hustles when they can, And so thinking about what does it take? What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? How do you start your own business? What mistakes to avoid? So that will be out for summer. But I really wanted to make sure that you focused in and understood that I'm talking about more than just educational pathways. I always share this, but I think it's really important because I think this is the why behind why it matters to me. These are all real students. You know, the young man on the end. I love this. I heard about the OSY program, which has changed my life and the way I think. It's amazing how I could see my dreams becoming a reality. He actually now has his own business in Kansas. He opened, he has a food truck, and I want to say he's in his mid-20s now, and he credits the migrant program in Kansas for his support. So, and then this young man was able to graduate high school at 21. He's from Pennsylvania. And then another student in the middle who also graduated and received her diploma. So just keeping that in mind. And I talked about this before in terms of, you know, why do we bother focusing on goal setting? For me, it goes beyond just asking the question that I always ask, which I love. What can we do for the most marginalized group of students in America? Well, we can find them, help them articulate their goals, and then give them the tools they need to achieve them. And I think this center, this center bullet, giving voice to aspirations is a new experience for OSY, because we know many of them have never been asked about their values, their dreams, their desires. And the idea that their dreams may be approachable or attainable really helps them focus in on wanting to find that success. So I know that many of our states have really shifted how they deliver services, and they actually begin with goal setting. And I'm going to share a tool modified from New York State in a moment, because I really like it. But the benefit, obviously, to OSY, and I almost wish I didn't have OSY on everything, because all of this is applicable to any migratory student, any student, really, even us as adults. I mean, thinking about establishing a goal and a projected pathway or plan. We know the other benefits include developing or strengthening their sense of self-efficacy, developing understanding of resources to help them along the way, but also, and I look, you know, I have a daughter who is, who's 13, she'll be 14 next month. And she is a ski racer. I think I've told you this before, in Missouri, of all places, right? But she set some goals for herself and was able to join a real ski team. That's a whole nother story. And a race team. And now in the beginning of April, we're all heading to Colorado so she can compete in nationals. And she really had some barriers that hindered her progress, but it was all about perseverance and keep moving forward. And I think that anyone can benefit from these lessons, whether it's our own children, our students. Oh, here's a question. I've been talking too much. Okay, here we go. Abigail, thank you. She says, since we're the last dollar spent, shouldn't we refer them to resources in the community that help with entrepreneurship? Or is this in addition to that? Yes, sure. That's a really good question. And you certainly can do that. But we are targeting our OSY for this. And since they don't really have a lot of other resources targeted towards them, there's not as much issue with supplanting. And Cesar, you can jump in. When we think about supplement versus supplant, it's not like they're in a school district that's getting right now a lot of other dollars that they have to spend. You know, are they still spending ESSER $3? So yes, you're right. Migrant program is always considered the cherry on the top, but if there's nothing else to support these kids, which is true for our OSY, then you may absolutely use any of these resources, and definitely use it in summer. If you're doing a summer program for, you know, K-12 students or whatever, you're helping a district, you certainly can use these. They're free resources, so they're not costing you anything. Yes, but you can always add in, and it's great to connect to them to community resources as well. But this course, they're actually sort of mini courses, so they're designed to be done fairly quickly. And they can build on whatever is being done in the community, or you can make those community referrals. Cesar, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, you know, I think if you're talking about this entrepreneurship guidance, right? I think we're focusing more on trying to provide a resource that is more educational
Mhm.
for RSY.
Mhm.
And especially, Abby, since especially is from iSOSY, it's attached to kind of our educational material. So
Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure, because
Mhm.
like I said, I know that we're wanting them, and like the entrepreneurship stuff is through like con Raul.
Yeah.
And so he teaches, he's teaching the students, and that's where I kind of refer them to. But I just want to make sure that I'm referring them to those resources again. That's it, because that is education too there. You know what I mean? Like they go
Absolutely.
into depth,
Yep.
but I just want to make sure that I am doing things
No,
correctly.
you're
Again,
absolutely,
just
yeah.
to get those corrections or
Yeah.
understandings.
And I
And-
hope if I was lacking clarity, I apologize. But this course is to give them a taste of what it means to them. And it's not like they're developing, detailed business plans by the end of it. It's really to supplement anything you're doing or to introduce the concepts. And we focus on vocabulary and comprehension and all of that. And there are, pre and post assessments, et cetera. So it ties very neatly into what you're doing. But if there's a larger course, if a student is interested, you could refer them to it. We're piloting this. So this summer, and states can choose to pilot it or not, but it's something that can build into and connect to those local community resources as well. Yes. Does that help? Okay, thank you. And feel free to talk. You don't have to put stuff in the chat, honestly. And if I'm talking too much, which I get excited and I talk a lot, so please interrupt me, raise your hand, yell at me. I don't care. I want to make sure that I'm answering all your questions too. So I think that this last statement is particularly pertinent. Goal setting is a framework for life, not just for the time that students are with us. And the important part about goal setting is a student who comes to your classes, whether it's English, GED, life skills, etc., if they have goals already in mind, they will have a much greater chance of success. Okay, so I don't want to belabor all of this because you can look at that. Let's see, sorry, let me close out of that. I also listed some benefits to the MEP itself. And then we've talked some about the challenges that our OSY face, as well as their assets. And I love to focus on the assets. I mean, we often look at challenges and you hear people say the cards are stacked against them. They have so many issues. They work all the time. We could throw every roadblock up imaginable, but when you start looking at, they're intrinsically motivated. They come to you, and if they do the work, it's because they want to do the work versus being forced to do the work. Some other assets I really look at is the flexible curricular material choices. So when we look at our OSY, we begin where they want us to begin, whether it's learning English, entrepreneurship, some life skills, etc. So there's lots of ways to view our students in terms of being intrinsically motivated. So very quickly, I just wanted to throw out how these materials were developed. We really looked at the following concepts to develop all of our materials. And we looked at, obviously, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, growth mindset, and persistence. But before I dig into that, I actually want to go to your materials. Let me get out of this. And I never know, can you see the Google Drive?
Yes.
Or you still see my PowerPoint?
Both.
Oh, both? Perfect.
I can
Okay.
see it, yeah.
All right, so if you go to the adapted handout at the very bottom, I want you to just pull this up. So this was something we modified based on what New York did, and they really did a lot of work with this concept of goal setting. They took our materials and they said, we really wanted to get our service providers and our regions in New York to start thinking about how goal setting needs to occur as one of the very first activities we do with students. And so they gave some strategies, some questions, some prompts, and ways to think about goal setting with adolescent students. And I'm not going to read this to you. I just want to point this out to you because it gives you some good ideas. And what's really nice is you also can jot down what you all think works as well on this as this tool. But they talk about getting to know your students, which I think you all do very well. Helping students name their feelings and experiences, and then chunk the chats, breaking it down and focusing on the now, versus trying to make it sort of be thrown into it. Instead, allow goal setting to be an organic process as you connect with students. And then chunking time frames, looking at how you can meet with them and when you can meet with them and have some of these conversations. And then they gave some support in terms of how to help students visualize the future with questions. So I'd love for you to take a look at that. So back to Maslow. Okay. Oh, hello. So there we go. So I know everybody's familiar with this, but I always think it's good to think about priorities when you think about goal setting. And when I think about priorities, of course, it helps me to think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because we know unless these needs are met, right? The basic needs, physiological, safety needs, you can't really get to, oops, my apologies. You can't get to this the top part of the pyramid, which is self-actualization, which is achieving one's full potential. So we need to look at psychological needs. How do they feel belonged? How do they, even though this says love needs and intimate relationships and friends, the relationship you build with your students is critical. And when we look at all of the research, years ago, we did a research study on why students who were disenfranchised and dropped out of school, why they reconnected back to school. And all of them acknowledged that it was the role of their migrant provider, their migrant service provider, instructor, whatever your title is, who really was the person responsible for helping them reconnect and providing them with that relationship, that positive view of instruction, of education, and allowed them to address what they needed to address to get back into school. So I won't delve too deeply, and I know you all know about growth mindset, and I'm not just being trendy here, because it's fascinating to me. You know, we began talking about goal setting and years ago, and we really, you know, we read as a work group, we read Carol Dweck's growth mindset, and really we actually have an entire professional development module on it. And we have the growth mindset versus fixed mindset quiz that if you give to students, it's really fun to do with students. It's also interesting to do yourself, to really take a look at where you are. And I think that this has been very powerful to understand that what a mindset is, and help students to understand that everybody has a little bit of both. No one is all growth versus fixed, and no one is all fixed in terms of their mindset. And it can really help us empower our students to move forward about how we think and how we can develop. And as we develop our own mindsets, growth mindset assumes intelligence and other qualities, abilities, and talents can be developed with effort, learning, and dedication over time. And I love these quotes. These were all actual student quotes. When I'm frustrated, I persevere. I want to challenge myself. When I fail, I learn. Tell me I try hard. If you succeed, I'm inspired. So really powerful stuff here. We know that our mind can change by discovering something we didn't know before, right? Change is possible if we learn that brains can change according to how we use them. Have any of you as adults learned another language or learned to play a musical instrument or have challenged your brain in some way? Can you give me an example? I can't see all your faces. Are you shaking your heads?
I've learned Nepali.
Ooh, wow, cool. And how long did it take you?
I still don't know it fully. So forever, but starting to get to know the language and understanding it. Oh gosh, like 3 years.
Nice. That's good. Oh, well, how long does it say it takes to learn a language? So you're on track. You're doing great. Anybody else? Okay, I can't tell if people are responding because my bar is in the way. Come on. Anything? Don't be shy.
Being a dad.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Yeah, your brain definitely changes a lot there. I will tell you, so I've done two things that I think I'm definitely staving off dementia by having done these things. One is, now I will freely admit I'm the worst violin player in the world, but when Catherine was younger, she decided she wanted to take violin, and we were doing the Suzuki method, which I had no idea we were doing this, and it requires the parent to learn alongside the child, which was a hoot. And if you could imagine what that sounded like in my house, I'll do a little impression. It was terrible. Okay. Then the second thing, I do kickboxing, which is it really stretches me but it's also rewarding. But stretching myself physically and mentally when just trying to overcome some barriers about some of the kicks. So I really feel like I'm doing well here, but I want to continue to learn in other areas too. So anyone else, anything else you're doing or thinking about doing? Growing a garden, sewing, what else? Teaching yourself how to knit. That's a good one. That's hard. Come on, one more person, be brave.
Yoga.
I love it. Yes, I'm terrible at yoga too, but yes, good for you. Awesome. All right. Yeah, being still is very hard for me.
On the
So,
chat,
yeah.
Carmen said, going back to college.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Great. And then thinking about all that you have to share. I mean, relating these experiences with your students, I think is really powerful, because we know that the most effective way to help people believe in their power to change their own behaviors is by helping them to see how easy it is to change their mind. And I'm not talking, we're not going to talk politics because we don't want to go there, because you're not going to change anybody's mind. But I'm talking about changing your brain and how it works through neuroplasticity. So, okay. Oh, violin. Yeah, it's a hard instrument. I quit. I'm embarrassed to admit. I learned Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Good luck. So the key to teaching growth mindset is to teach the concept of neuroplasticity. And I know you've heard that word, but I want to share this quick little video. It's because it just illustrates the point so nicely. Now let me see if I can get it to start. There we go.
This isn't just a bathroom.
Sorry,
This
there
is
needs to be a way to skip these ads, and I
create
didn't
a
do it.
sanctuary.
Okay. All
Hey,
right.
it's me, Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every
Can you
Day.
hear?
You've heard
and
people
see?
say it's just like riding
Yes.
a bike, meaning
Okay.
it's really easy and you can't forget how to do it, right? But I did something. I did something that damaged my mind. It happened on the streets of Amsterdam, and I got really scared, honestly. I can't ride a bike like you can anymore. Before I show you the video of what happened, I need to tell you the backstory. Like many 6-year-olds with a MacGyver mullet, I learned how to ride a bike when I was really young. I had learned a life skill and I was really proud of it. Everything changed though when my friend Barney called me 25 years later. Where I work, the welders are geniuses and they like to play jokes on the engineers. He had a challenge for me. He had built a special bicycle and he wanted me to try to ride it. He had only changed one thing. When you turn the handlebar to the left, the wheel goes to the right. When you turn it to the right, the wheel goes to the left. I thought this would be easy, so I hopped on the bike ready to demonstrate how quickly I could conquer this.
And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Destin Sandlin. First attempt riding the bicycle. All right. So the faster I go, the better. Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't do it. You can see that I'm laughing, but I'm actually really frustrated. In this moment, I had a really deep revelation. My thinking was in a rut. This bike revealed a very deep truth to me. I had the knowledge of how to operate the bike, but I did not have the understanding. Therefore, knowledge is not understanding. Look, I know what you're probably thinking. Destin's probably just an uncoordinated engineer and can't do it. But that's not the case at all. The algorithm that's associated with riding a bike in your brain is just that complicated. Think about it. Downwards force on the pedals, leaning your whole body, pulling and pushing the handlebars, gyroscopic precession in the wheels. Every single force is part of this algorithm. And if you change any one part, it affects the entire control system. I do not make definitive statements that often, but I'm telling you right now, you cannot ride this bicycle. You might think you can, but you can't. I know this because I'm often asked to speak at universities and conferences, and I take the bike with me. It's always the same. People think they're going to try some trick or they're just going to power through it. It doesn't work. Your brain cannot handle this. For instance, this guy, I offered him $200 just to ride this bike 10 feet across the stage. Everybody thought he could do it.
No, you didn't understand. You didn't understand. So this way. All right, let's see. All right, so whenever you're ready. Yeah. Wait. No, you have to keep your feet on. Dude, look, all right, here we go. Like you gotta start rolling at least. Hey, go. Keep your feet on the pedal. Go. Go right on. Just keep your feet on the pedal. Yeah, come on. All right, one more time.
Once you have a rigid way of thinking in your head, sometimes you cannot change that, even if you want to. So here's what I did. It was a personal challenge. I stayed out here in this driveway and I practiced about 5 minutes every day. My neighbors made fun of me. I had many wrecks, but after 8 months, this happened. One day I couldn't ride the bike and the next day I could. It was like I could feel some kind of pathway in my brain that was now unlocked. It was really weird though. It's like there's this trail in my brain, but if I wasn't paying close enough attention to it, my brain would easily lose that neural path and jump back onto the old road it was more familiar with. Any small distractions at all, like a cell phone ringing in my pocket, would instantly throw my brain back to the old control algorithm and I would wreck, but at least I could ride it. My son is the closest person to me genetically, and he's been riding a normal bike for 3 years. That's over half his life. I wanted to know how long it would take him to learn how to ride a backwards bike, so I told him if he learned how to ride a backwards bike, he could go with me to Australia and meet a real astronaut.
Are you going to give up? Go ahead. This is how it starts. Look at this. This is such a big deal. Get up. You got it. Did you see his brain get it? So in how many weeks have we been doing this? 2 weeks? In 2 weeks, he did something that took me 8 months to do, which demonstrates that a child has more neuroplasticity. Am I even saying that right? Than an adult.
It's clear from this experiment that children have a much more plastic brain than adults. That's why the best time to learn a language is when you're a young child.
All right, today's bike log. I can ride smooth. I can ride fast. I'm thinking the experiment is over. Okay, now I'm in Amsterdam, a city that has more bicycles than people. The question is, can I ride a normal bike now? I mean, I've spent all this time unlearning how to ride a bike. If I go back and try to ride a normal one, will my brain mess up? So I've tweeted a Smarter Everyday meetup, if you will, and I'm going to see if somebody brings a bicycle, and I'm going to try to ride a normal bike. It's backwards. It's backwards.
This was one of the most frustrating moments of my life. I had ridden a normal bike since I was 6, but in this moment, I couldn't do it anymore. I had set out to prove that I could free my brain from a cognitive bias. But at this point, I'm pretty sure that all I've proved is that I can only redesignate that bias.
So what you're not seeing is just a group of people here looking at me, looking at
Okay, do you want to know if he learns to ride it or not? He does. So I just wanted to show that to you. Let me get out of that and go back to this. Okay, so that in its simplest way is to talk about neuroplasticity and what we can do to, oh, I didn't mean to start that again, excuse me.
I had no idea this would be such a big problem when we got our dog Maxine. This is our toy graveyard because Maxine is a toy monster. She either just
There we go. Let me get out of all of that. Sorry about that. Okay, back to the PowerPoint. So the other concept that we explored besides growth mindset, Maslow's hierarchy, looking at neuroplasticity is persistence. So could one of you give an example of persistence that you have faced in your own life? This is the part where you're not shy, you talk.
Hello.
Hi.
For me, it is persistent because I just got my CDL recently. And
That's
at the
awesome.
beginning, it was a big challenge, but then, repetition and persistence and consistency and doing it over and over and over, I learned how to do, downshift and,
That's
with
right.
stiff. So it was hard, but I got it at the end.
I'm super impressed. That's awesome.
And I'm 50. So.
I love that. That is great. Good for you. That is really cool. Okay. Anyone else? Can you give an example when you had to help someone else persist, which at times I think is probably easier to answer than looking internally?
Yeah, I have a friend that she wanted to be, I mean, she's a nurse right now, but when she was going through school, I think the last year was very difficult for her due to the clinicals and I think, I don't know, countless conversations and, and hours of listening to her. I think wanting to quit because it was like very difficult. She had children already and then just financially not being able to work because having to do the clinicals and schoolwork was very difficult for her. So I think every time that I see her, I'm just happy, that
That's wonderful.
we worked together through some of those challenges by having conversations and maybe problem solving, some of those issues that she had. And now, I mean, she's a successful nurse and
I love
she likes
that.
what she does. And she went to school when she was like, she went back to school when she was like 27. So as a mom, so it was different.
Yeah. And with your help and support, that's really great. Thank you for sharing that.
And I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one. Like, I don't want to take the credit, but I was part of it.
Well, but
She had a lot of friends and people trying to push her through, but I think I was the one that it was like, hey, I'm going nuts. She would call me in this stress. And I think she still does. And I feel that I think a lot of people do. Getting my counseling and master's degree, I think also it sent a message to my friends and family that it's like, oh, for some reason they think I'm like their personal counselor. So I still get a lot of those phone calls like on people like on crisis, which I mean, I get them more than I used to.
Wow.
But that was her. So I'm happy with my sister that she can do it. Yeah.
Thank you. So when we start thinking about the supports our students need, when we think about persistence, right? All of the research says these items in front of you are most important, these bullet points. One, in order for a student to demonstrate persistence, they need to have an established goal or projected pathway. First step, a sense of self-efficacy. They need to develop an understanding of the positive and negative forces that help hinder their progress and ways to manage those forces. And then they need to see the progress, right? So thinking about all the concepts coming together here, this is what we're talking about. So how does this impact goal setting and student success? Well, you always hear in education, high expectations. We have to have high expectations of our students. This is actually true because we know that holding students to high expectations done properly is a way to convey to them that they have potential. But all of the research supports this, that you need to have all of these pieces in place. So I'm going to sum this up real fast to you. And I think that if you take nothing away from today other than this, good, but I hope you take more. But students need to know how to write it down, break it down, thinking about any goal, right? Hold themselves accountable, reward yourself, share your goals with people who will help you and encourage you and develop good habits. Now, granted, I'm really breaking this down into it's the bare minimum here but I think sharing this with students is very valuable. So I think you all need a little mental break yourself. So Cesar, are you going to be ready for this? Because you are going to be the judge here. Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to ask all of you, okay, a mental break. We all know what a scavenger hunt is. Well, you're going to look around your office or wherever you are, and the first person to take a picture and post it in the chat of the item on the next slide will win a prize. So, does everybody get it? First person, you have to take a picture, post it in the chat box, okay? So find the item I'm referencing on this next slide, or you can hold it up. I don't care if you're on camera and you have it in front of you, hold it up, okay? However, whatever's the fastest way for you to do this, Cesar, everybody should be on camera and you're gonna be the judge here. Are you ready?
It's probably easier if they just put it on the camera, yeah.
That's what I think.
Let me
Okay.
let me make it big so I can see it, but I don't want to.
Okay, make sure you see everybody. All right, is everybody on camera? Suzanne, come on, let's go. There's somebody blurry. Danny, I can't see you.
I think Danny's has been broken for a while. Still broken, huh?
Oh no.
Yeah, they haven't fixed it yet.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Danny.
Okay. Everybody else, are you ready? Here we go. Oop, a Sharpie. You gotta hold it up. Oh, who was that? Oh,
Wow.
okay.
It was Alma.
Okay. All right. Cesar, you're going to be in charge of emailing me names and
Each
email
one?
addresses. Okay. Don't worry, but there'll be more opportunities. I just can't remember if I have another one after this or not. So let's just try it. Because I might have two listed here. I might have one. I don't know. I was working on this last night. Oh, nope. Okay. You're all good. All right. So be prepared for more scavenger hunts. And the prize is pretty good. Who won somebody got an email from me a couple weeks ago from last time. So you should have gotten an email with a gift card.
She's not here today, but yeah.
Okay. So it's a good prize.
Mhm.
All right. So let us dig in. I am just going to very briefly, I'm going to give you the highlights. Okay. And then we're going to do an activity because it's 2:00. So I need to talk faster. Okay. So how will you grow? Setting goals with our migratory students, right? It's divided into these sections. Why goal setting? The importance of the big picture. What's a vision? What's a goal? Okay. I'm going to go through this. Here are the sections. Okay. There are 6 activities. They're designed to be sequential, but it doesn't have to be. You can take this and run with it, but please don't do all of this in one setting because it's really long and you will lose your student. But you can chunk this, and this is the really fun part. So you can chunk it into activities, and I'm going to do an activity with you in a few minutes that you can use as an icebreaker with your students as a way to get them to know them better. And they don't even realize that you're beginning the process of goal setting with them in a very safe way. Okay. So you can modify this. It says they take 45 minutes. You can do it in 20, you can do it in 30, you can do an entire session. So the activities are written in different structures. So we have it on one-to-one, group, or virtual. So I'll show you what that looks like when we get into the book. Each section has an icebreaker, an introduction, a main activity, and a wrap-up activity. So the idea is that you don't talk a lot in this, that it's all activity driven, okay? Then we have a student handbook. So I'm trying to think if I want to do this. I'm going to show you the materials versus just going through the sections on the PowerPoint, because you can look at this later. But as I mentioned, the full sequence may not be appropriate for all of your students. We also know they move, obviously. So that's why we actually have a separate student goal book. And I'm going to show that to you. So this is activity 1. We're actually going to do part of this. But this is a way you're always talking about, you know, I'm always talking about building relationships. So we're going to do this, but I'm going to actually take you to the book. So everybody, oh, of course, if you can get the book, I want you to join me here. So we have goal setting guides. The first one we're going to pull up, if you all can see that, we're going to look at the instructor guide. Okay. So does everybody see that? Nod your head. Yes. Good job. Okay. There we go. Oh, thank you for that thumbs up. All right. So this is 103 pages. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to dig into this. Oh, I don't want it that big. The easiest way to dig into it, oops, it disappeared on me, is to, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to scroll. So we have a hyperlinked table of contents. Well, I don't know why it's not showing up as hyperlinked on this one. I'm sorry, but it really is. But I just want to show you. We have everything laid out. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Okay, first of all, here is goal setting with OSY, kind of gives you the big picture. Here it is laid out one-on-one. So if you want to do the activity I'm going to do with you, but you want to do it one-on-one, here's how you do them. If you want to do it in a group, we've given you advice on how to do that. We've also given you, if you decide to do it virtual, the step-by-step. Then there's appendices where we have all of the materials you need. And then just to make it even easier is if you go, oh, I really liked that one activity, but I can't remember where it is and I don't have the patience to sift through 103 pages. Well, boom. Activity 1, icebreaker questions. Okay. So you can look at this on your own. There's a lot of really good information here. There's obviously, as I said, there's a lot of the research here, but I want to also show you the student book. You can use this, you can make your own, you can change this, but students really seem to respond to this. We have a lot of quotations. We do have it in English and Spanish. I'm just showing you the English version. But we have tips for achieving your goals. We have spaces for them to do the activities. Okay. So who does the book belong to? We know that students go to other states and they have their book with them, which I love. So activity 1, we're actually going to do this in a few minutes, but you'll see there's space for students to respond and you could work with them through that. So I want you to make sure you have access to those because we're going to be using it. So I want to go back to the PowerPoint. And I've broken it out, but I don't really think I need to go through each section with you because, as I said, we're going to do an activity that in a little bit that you're going to be doing the work here. So the important part is you remember there's an icebreaker, the main activity, and then the wrap-up activity for each section. And it's broken out here by the objective. So for example, in activity 3 or section 3, setting long and short-term goals, we want the student to develop the skill to break down a long-term goal into short and medium-term goals. So we know that so many of our students always come here, and regardless of where they left, what grade they left school in their home country, they come here and they say, I want to get my GED, my high school diploma, my GED, my HSED, right? My high school equivalency diploma. But let's say they left in 5th grade. So how do we help them break down that long-term goal into smaller, more incremental steps? And we'll talk about that as we go on too. And we're going to get into that. So what I consider one of the most important parts of this is helping students discover what their big picture is, what their vision is. Because without that, this should be the driver, right? And without that, the whole process can become overwhelming. So we really want to help students create that vision and goals. One thing that we need to remember, of course, is it's the student's process, it's not our process, right? We know that as the students, as they move through this process, their vision and goals may change, and that's healthy, that they need to be the drivers here. But you're there as their mentor and coach, the instructor, the guide, the mentor and coach. So when we think about vision and goals, I've listed, divided this section into goals, vision and goals, right? So if I were to say, I want to live a healthy, well-balanced life, is that a vision or is that a goal?
A vision.
Yes, it is a vision. That is like the big picture stuff, right? It's pretty broad. But when we get into the goals, right, we want to have some specificity. So if I wanted to live a healthy, well-balanced life, what would I need to do on the right-hand side in order to achieve that? Lose 20 pounds. Yeah, exactly. So if I wanted to provide a happy, loving home for my family in a safe community, what would I need to do in terms of a goal? I'm sorry? Oh, I thought I heard somebody. Did you say save money to buy a house? You did. Thank you. Yes. So it's pretty simple, right? So in order to discover our vision. Oh, thanks, Justin. I just saw that you had to leave. Thank you. Okay. So we are going to look at the section on discovering our vision. All right. And we are going to look at the icebreaker activity. So the first icebreaker activity, if we go to back to our folder, okay. Okay, I want to go back here. Okay, you are going to click on where it says icebreaker questions, okay? And we're going to be quick through this. Are you ready? So these are in English and Spanish. We are going to look at the English version. And the idea behind this, and you could do this in a variety of ways, you can make it really fun for the students, but the idea is to begin the process of building a relationship with a student, right? So we're going to ask some questions that are really benign questions. They're not meant to delve into anything too deep, okay? But the idea is that you come prepared and you answer the questions too. Now you can cut them into strips and have them pull a question out of a jar. You can, give them a piece of candy. There's all kinds of ways you can make this fun and interesting. If we were in a room together, I could give you a card, like from a deck of cards that then would correlate with the question. There's all kinds of ways, and you can use your own best judgment as to how you want to do it. But today we're going to be kind of boring in that we're going to look at this sheet and everybody pull it up in front of them, okay? And Cesar, I'm going to need your help. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a question and I'm going to answer it. And then I'm going to call on someone and you have to answer a different question. Okay. So we can't have any repeats. And there's a lot of questions here. want to say there's there's 40 something. I forgot. There's 46 questions. Okay. So I'm going to answer the first one. I'm going to call on somebody, and then that person will answer a question and then call on someone else. And again, no repeats. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to answer question number 6. What is your favorite place to be and why? I would say my favorite place to be is Hawaii. And why? Because I love water and I love to be in the water and snorkel and just relax. All right. So I've answered question 6. So Cesar, I'm picking on you. Answer a question and then call on somebody.
Number 3, what is the longest time you've gone without sleeping?
Uh-oh.
Well, there was finals week in college, and yeah, I had too much caffeine, and then it was already the next day, and there was no going back, so I just pulled through. Yeah, it was fun. It's like,
Sounds fun.
yeah. Okay, Melinda.
Sorry, I had trouble figuring out how to get my mute off. It's a little difficult on the phone. Favorite things to do in the summer, number 16. I really like to do nature-y stuff, so go camping, hiking, that kind of stuff, or travel anywhere. I like to travel everywhere.
Nice.
And I will pick Abby.
And hop on camera.
I would say number 12, name a gift you'll never forget. I had an older friend, she was like a grandmother, gave about, I don't know, $400 or $500 for me to go over to Croatia. So dream that I wanted to go to, and she helped out with that. So
I love that. Oh, it's beautiful there. I would love to go. Oh my goodness. Awesome.
Suzanne.
All right. Well, I'm going to choose number 11 and piggyback. I've always wanted to go to Croatia. I visited the Croatian embassy in Washington, D.C. I don't know if that counts. And I really want to go to Hawaii too. So I'm piggybacking off of Tracy. I keep hinting toward my husband, but so far we haven't gone.
Oh, it's beautiful.
All right. I will choose Kendi.
Hi, I would choose number 44. So your favorite meal is it's a traditional dish from Oaxaca, Mexico. It's called clayudas. So it's probably you don't know about it, but it's a big tortilla with beans and meat and cheese on the top and different vegetables.
That sounds really good. Nice.
So I'll pick Emily.
Hi everyone. I can do number 9. What is the strangest you've ever eaten? I don't think anybody has done that one yet. Oh, it's the pressing me out. But I'm not a big fan. Cow brain. I mean, tacos of cow brain, and people said it was very delicious. I had to disagree. I don't think they're very delicious, but try.
Ooh. Wait, before you go, I have to say that I've eaten elephant.
Oh,
Yes.
that is, yeah.
Yes, this was-
I've never had that one before.
So I'll tell you real quick. It was, believe it or not, it was in the middle of Kansas. It was at a professional development event. And it was the time where everybody was trying to do something fun, you know, to build teams, right? And the consultant that was hired talked about how do you create something, you know, it's like eating an elephant, you do it one bite at a time. And then she passed out this little dried pieces of elephant meat that she got. She was on safari. they were really gross, but everybody ate it, you know? So there's that. But cow brains, no. Awesome. All right, Emily, who are you gonna call on?
I think I'm gonna go with Daniel Jaimes.
All right.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Okay.
Okay, if I had to describe, I'm gonna answer number 19. Describe yourself in 3 words, and I'm going to go with rebel. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Josh.
Wait, 3 words.
And I chose rebel.
That was a joke.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, seriously, and I didn't get it. Okay, I like you.
I knew it. I knew it. So I put my head down. I knew it.
That's awesome. Rebel. All right.
All right, is there only one Josh, or is it me?
I think it's you, Josh. Yep.
All right, number 20, what's the most beautiful thing in the world? I think I sent it to you guys. It's my cat.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's it in chat. Do you have a picture in chat? Let's see.
I put it in the chat. You should be able to open it. It's me and my
Okay.
cat at this meeting right now.
Oh, I can't. It says potential security issue can detect.
Don't open
That's
it.
not cool. Can I share my screen? No, I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Hold on, let me.
Here, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Estamos. Let's go. Look at him.
Oh my gosh. Oh, what's his name?
His name is Theo, and he's the best thing in the world.
He's cute. He's very cute. Awesome. Thank
And
you.
I'll pass it
Thank
off
you.
to Casby.
Okay. All right. Let
Sorry,
me-
Casby.
Okay. There. Is that person still there?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I cannot see the questions.
Oh, because I'm sorry. What did
No,
I
you're
just
fine.
do? Nope, that was my fault. Sorry. Hold on, let me go back to them. Okay, there they are. Can you see them now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
There are 40 some. You could also see them on your
Okay.
own screen if you pull them up.
okay, number 17. People
Okay.
might be surprised to find out that most of the people think that I'm really angry person. Like, yeah, they always say that I have like attitude like that. I'm really mean, but I'm not. So I think they're surprised that I'm not mean person. I'm kind of funny.
I don't
person.
think you're mean. Awesome. All right. You want to call on who's next?
Ingrid?
Ingrid.
She's with me. So.
But I have not reading the questions. Okay, I barely see, but I choose what is the most beautiful thing in the world.
We
I
already
love
had that one.
cats too. I love cats too, but I think it's the nature.
Okay. All right. I'll
Stunning.
allow you to do that this time. Okay. All right. Because I like how you connected to what Josh said. So good job.
Okay.
All right. Now you call on somebody else. Who's left, Cesar?
Well,
Elda Martinez.
Elda. Pop on camera.
So so I have a laptop and a desktop and it's switched around.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Elda, I think you got to put your closer to the mic.
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can, yes.
A little better,
Okay.
a little better.
Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna choose, I think it was 16.
Okay.
What is one of your favorite things to do in the summer? Just sit outside with my modelo and just enjoy the sun and the breeze. And just take it easy.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. You want to call on somebody else?
I'm not sure who has been gone.
Who else is left?
Who to say?
So,
Okay, go ahead. And if you're able to, hop on camera.
Okay, my favorite TV show is number 10. Well, I have a lot of them. Well, not a lot of them, but 3. One of them is gonna be Malcolm in the Middle.
That's fun.
It's funny because it's very funny. And I like Breaking Bad.
Uh-huh.
And I like Breaking Bad again. So I watch it again because it's cool like that.
And the same actors in both.
Yes, exactly. And I know what to expect.
There you go. Thank you.
Dulce, I don't know if you're going to NASME or not, but that takes place that's in Albuquerque, and that's where Breaking Bad took place. So they offer like tours where you can go see the house and everything else.
I'll send you a picture when I'm there.
That sounds good.
Love that. Awesome. Okay, who's left?
Lisbeth.
Carmen. Or Lisa. Yeah.
You say Carmen?
Lisbeth is right next to her.
Lisa.
Please go first.
Okay.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Is down 12 names I give you will never forget.
Oh, I think somebody asked that one.
Alguien más ya hizo eso.
How about if we look at page 2 as well?
The 44, your favorite meal is?
Okay.
Is my favorite meal is the Chinese food.
Oh,
And
okay.
Japanese food too.
Nice.
Carmen, your turn.
I'm gonna go, what is your life's motto?
Oh, okay. That's a good question.
I may own the jacket, but I've never checked out the room.
That's awesome. I
Alma
like that.
hasn't gone.
Does that work?
That works.
I
Okay.
can't hear anything there.
Who's next? That's great. All right. Who else did we not hear from?
Alma, did you go?
I
Alma.
Okay, well, I saw one on the other page, but I
Okay.
can't. Well,
I'm scrolling up.
I think it was something about what you, hold on, I'm looking for it.
Okay.
What is something, it's number 26. What are
Okay.
some things that you have shown other people to do, how to do?
Okay.
A folkloric dance group. I mean, I've
Cool.
taught all different races, not only Hispanics. There's been Laotian, Native American, aside from Mexican, Chilean, Peruvian, Guatemalan, Salvadorian.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caesar.
That's really cool. Okay. Cesar, who's left?
Did Head Start already go?
Danny didn't go either. Danny Miranda.
Okay.
Thank you, Alma.
Because I can't see all of you, so I'm relying on your honesty.
I think Claudia hasn't gone either.
All right, come on.
Hello.
I think
All right,
I think Danny's going. Danny.
Danny, go ahead.
I'll go with
Oh, I
number
see.
36. A book you would recommend someone to read. If you want to read a sad book, I would suggest 1,000 Splendid Suns. It takes place in the Middle East, and it just talks about what the women go through.
Okay.
And it's a good read. It's sad, but a good read.
Okay. Oh, it sounds good. Thank you. I'm always looking for a good book. Thank you. All right. Who's next?
Start.
Did you say Norma?
Norma.
Okay, come on, Norma.
Norma. Okay, me number 30. Which one is that one? Okay. I'm happy when I'm dancing. When I'm dancing because I love music.
Nice. I love that. That's awesome.
Norma, your turn. Okay, I'm here with Claudia.
Oh, okay.
So I will answer number 22.
I think if I won the lottery, I will travel around the world.
Can we come?
Yes,
Yes.
you can come, everybody on MEP.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, did we get everybody?
I believe so.
Awesome. So think about, okay, you guys responded to one another, you commented on each other's, answers. This was fun. I got to know you better. You got to know each other better. Think about how much fun you would have doing this with a group of students. And you can make up your own questions, but I think we have a wealth of questions here that, run the gamut. So, and again, they're in English and Spanish. So I want you to think about using this one. And the next one that ties into this is the next activity. Oh, oops, you weren't supposed to see that. Did you see it? You
No.
weren't paying attention. Okay, we have another scavenger hunt really fast.
You don't have it on full screen.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, are you ready?
Norma's already looking for it.
Okay, go. Old-fashioned calculator. Who has it? Hold it up. Get on camera. Come on, Head Start. Come on, Elda. Abigail, come on. I'm on camera. I hate being on camera. Oh, okay. We have one. Oh, we have a lot. All right. So who was it?
Yeah, it was a very close cut between Candy and Melinda, but Melinda got it first.
So close.
That was like this. Melinda went.
Okay, you know what? Send me both their names
Perfect.
and emails. Good
Candy
job.
and Melinda.
Yay. All
Wait,
right. There may be.
what about me? I had the old fashioned calculator, the hands.
Wait,
on
are
your
you the
fingers.
rebel? Are you the rebel?
Might as well be.
Okay, I think there may be another one on this next slide. So are you ready? I could be wrong because I don't have any of the slides in front of me. All right, here we go. Ah, I lied. Okay, keeping you on your toes, people,
That was
keeping you on
better.
your toes. Okay, now this is the next step. So we've talked about the importance of getting to know your students, right? So we've given them the harmless little activity, right? Of talking to us, of doing the icebreaker, and then we get into the main activity, which is dreaming big. So when we think about dream big, we want them to answer 3 questions. And I'm going to ask you to do this. And I realize somebody's sitting in their car. So if you don't have a paper and pen, you can just think about these, but we give them options. If you were looking at the student book, you saw the page that they could either write, and I'm not picky, they can write in English, they can write in Spanish, their native language, I don't care, or they can draw. So you have the options. You could write, you can draw, I don't care, but I want you to answer these 3 questions. And we're going to be quick. I'm only going to give you about 3 minutes. So about 1 minute per question. Write or draw what you believe you're capable of doing in your life. Write or draw the greatest thing you could accomplish given the right circumstances, resources, and motivation, like winning the lottery. And then this is where I see myself when I'm how old? I don't know how old you guys are. Some you look like you're 20, I don't know. So if you're 20, just think 10 years in the future. So if you're 25, think 35, etc. So this is where I see myself when I'm X number of years. Okay, but look about 10 years down the road. So let's take a minute and have you answer these questions. This is great too. I'm just going to talk a little while you're writing and thinking. I love if you have your own examples. Okay. So coming into this goal setting with students, I think it's wonderful if you do these activities ahead of time and you can share out. So think about if we were in a room together and we did those icebreaker questions, how much fun we would have. So we would build on what somebody else said. We would have time to comment on each other. And it's a really great, obviously, icebreaker, but it's such a good way to begin building bonds with students. And this is that natural extension to get them thinking about the concept of dreaming big and what you're capable of doing. And Cesar, just to warn you, in a few minutes, I'm gonna have you break everybody into probably 4 breakout rooms, okay? Yeah, I will need 4.
Random or in projects?
It would be great if they could work together, but if not, you can, you know what, it might just be easier to do it randomly.
All right, because I already have them set by projects, but I can.
Oh, then do it that way. Oh, you're already, oh, great. Yeah, just do
Oh,
that.
I'm ready.
I love it. Okay, and I wasn't timing. I should have set a timer. These are hard questions to answer. Okay. Are we doing okay? Okay, all right. Let's come back together and let's hear, what did you come up with? Anybody want to share question 1, what you believe you're capable of doing in your life?
I can share.
Yes, please.
So I really want to go back to school and do my master's degree. So I feel like I do believe and I feel like I'm very capable of going back to school and getting my master's.
Awesome. Awesome. Somebody else wrote continuing education. Good. Okay. Well, let's have everybody, let's just get on camera and just talk, because I think that's more fun than writing in the chat. So let's look at, anybody else want to share what you believe you're capable of doing? You answered them, right?
I think these are just like really deep questions. So
They are.
it made me think a lot about like life, but also I'm like, it's like in my whole life, I'm like, dang, that makes me think about the end, you know? What will I have wanted to accomplish? I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
I'm like, it kind of made me sad, not gonna lie.
Oh, no, don't be sad. No, it's supposed to be aspirational. It's very interesting how we approach these questions as adults versus our students.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at the future. And some of us, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but are looking at, oh, am I going to be able to accomplish everything I want to accomplish in the time? I don't want to, now you got me doing it too in the time I have left. What the heck? So, yes, but so besides making you sad, I mean, did you come up with anything?
Yeah, I came up with an answer for number 3 though. I was waiting.
Okay, let me hear that.
So where I see myself in 40, 50, 60 years. In 40 years, I see myself at the 40-year anniversary of this training. PG, praise God. All right, that's all I had.
I'll be dead. Thanks. 40 years from now. Okay. All right. Anyone answer number 2? What's the greatest thing you could accomplish, do you think? I think a lot of you were focused on, furthering your education. Anything else?
I'll answer that one.
Good.
The greatest thing that you could accomplish is changing the world for the best at least in a little itty bitty form.
I love that. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So, but I do want to go back to what was shared. It is interesting how we approach these questions based upon where we are in our own lives. And it's really interesting to hear what students have to say. So, so thank you for indulging me. So if you keep going, so the main activity then for students is to look at making a visual representation of their dream big. So here's one example. So they can do a vision board, they could do word clouds, they could draw a picture. There's multiple ways that they can visualize it and bring their vision to life. And I always think that's really fun. And these are just some examples of, here's a word cloud that a student did, and here's a collage. So, but the important part is giving that voice to aspiration. So helping them take the words that they wrote or what they drew and really make it come alive in some sort of visual format. And that's a lot of fun to do. So now we're getting to the heart of it. So it is, I have 2:37. So we are going to just start this activity, okay? What I want you to do is everybody take a little snapshot of this screen. And Cesar, you may want to put this in, once they get into breakout rooms, if you could send this to them, the actual assignments. So pay attention to what room you're in, number one, okay? And then you're going to go to the instructor manual. I've listed the page numbers. So group 1 in breakout room 1, you are going to, and I want to be super clear about this, you're going to pretend that we're your students, okay? And you're going to teach us this section. So you're going to teach us activity 2, documenting your vision. You're going to look at creating your vision, the main activity, which starts on page 14. Okay. And you're not just going to say, this is what I would do. You're going to teach us. Okay. So you and your group are going to need to read it, think about it, process it, and figure out how to teach it. Now you're going to go, Tracy, we can't do that in 20 minutes. So you're going to start the work. So 1, remember who's in your group. Cesar, if you can keep track of the groups. Remember which section you're doing, okay? So breakout room 2, you're gonna look at the main activity, measuring your dream, and it starts on page 17. Breakout room 3, you'll be in activity 5. You're gonna do the warm up and what you know. So you're gonna have 2 activities, warm up, and then the main activity, starting on page 21. And then the last breakout room, 4, you're going to look at planning step by step, the main activity starting on page 23. So you need the guide, the instructor's guide, you need your assignment, you need your groups. Now, we're going to just dig into this, and then next time, so take notes, please. Next time, I'm going to start with giving you probably about 15-ish minutes, maybe 20, on meeting with your groups and planning, and then you're going to teach us. Okay, so remember, we're your students. So any questions?
Can you show us where the instructor guide is?
Yes. So if you go back to here, you're going to go under goal setting guides, and you're going to go, I gave you 2 copies, whichever is easy. There's a copy in Word and a PDF. So you're going to go to the instructor's guide, and then just go to the table of contents. And just use, it really doesn't matter if you do one-on-one or group setting, but I think everybody, let's focus on the group setting. No, I think I apologize. I think it was just one-on-one with the page numbers. It really doesn't matter. You can, you're just going to teach us. So just find the activity. So, and I gave you the page numbers. Okay. There you go. Now we're going to go into our groups. Are you guys okay? Do you have questions? Okay, wait, there's 2 comments. My group left me. That's not good. Okay.
I just did it random because
Okay. All right. So do you want to go ahead and put them in?
How much
Does
time?
anyone have any questions before you go into your groups? We're going to come back together at 2:58. Okay. So stay with me for about 20 more minutes, okay? You ready? No questions? No? Okay. Go ahead.